No score at the end of one in their first game. And here at Tiger Stadium, Jack Billingham. 12 wins, 5 losses. 1-1 against the Indians, ready to go. He'll face Rick Manning. Here's Joe Tate to tell you that it is
a beautiful night for baseball. Thank you, Herb. Good evening, everybody. Billingham throws the first pitch outside to Manning, and the game is underway. Rick hitting .260, 3 homers, 39 RBIs, and the pitch to him is a strike to the outside corner, 1-1. Manning 7 for 23 against the Tigers this year with 2 runs batted in. Billingham, the right-hander, he started twice before against the Indians, won 1 and lost 1. Pitch to Manning, pop foul out of play upstairs over our heads, and the count is 1-2. Cleveland comes in with a record of 53 and 64 on the road. They have won 20 and lost 37, including 2 straight here at Detroit. They've taken the Tigers 3 out of 5 in Cleveland. Tigers at 64 and 52. Both teams coming off losses last night. 1-2 pitch to Manning, pop up foul, again out of play to the left. The count remains at a ball and 2 strikes.
Here in Tiger Stadium, 325 to the right field line, 340 in left, 370 in the power alley in right center, 365 in left center, 440 feet in straightaway center field.
Billingham with a 1-2 pitch to Manning. Hits a shot into the hole and into left field, a base hit between Rodriguez and Trammell. Well, Manning opens the ball game with a single to left field. And the batter is Buddy Bell. Bell, a right-hand hitter at 300 right on the hit. 5 homers, 48 RBIs, 1 for 10 against Detroit with 2 runs batted in. Buddy's hit safely in his last 6 games. 9 for 26 in that span, a 346 mark. He's 11th in the league at a 300 mark and just 23 hits short of a 1,000 mark for his career. He's also tied for 5th in the league in triples. Billingham to the stretch. Manning at first. Pitch to Bell. Drive down the right field line. It is starting to fade into the corner, and Corcoran reaches out, cuts the ball, bangs into the usher at the wall, and hangs on. Corcoran takes a foul fly on the corner. Good thing that usher was there. He added some padding because Corcoran plowed into the wall after the catch.
He did a good job in just getting to that ball.
1 out, Manning still at first base, and here's Johnny Grubb, the left-hand batter. Grubb at .276, 14 homers, 55 RBIs, 5 for 20 against Detroit this year. He, too, has a 6-game hitting streak going. He's 9th in the American League with a .383 on-base percentage, tied with Bell for 5th and triples with 6. In his last 6 games, he's 8 for 23. And over his last 30 ball games, his batting average, .339, dating back to July 14th. He has had 6 homers, 24 RBIs, and 20 runs scored in that 30-game stretch. The pitch is low, ball 1. Joe Nosek coaching at third, Rocky Colavito at first. Billingham with 1 out, 1 on. Mickey Stanley at first base tonight. Filling in for Jason Thompson, holding at the bag with a runner. Throw to first base, Manning goes back. Whitaker at second, Trammell at short, Rodriguez at third, Kemp in left, LaFleur in center, Corcoran in right, Parrish catching, and Jack Billingham on the mound. The stretch, 1-0 pitch, and Grubb checked his swing but went too far, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. Andre Thornton on deck. Indians hitting .267 as a team with 78 homers, hitting only .229 against Detroit with 5 home runs. Billingham looks in for the sign from Parrish. 1 ball, 1 strike. Manning leads at first. The pitch to Grubb, and John wraps one into center field. LaFleur is out there and stabs that line drive, 2 out. Hard hit ball, but LaFleur picks it off in the air, 2 down. Manning still at first base, and on comes Andre Thornton. Thunder hitting .276, 23 homers, 76 RBIs, 5 for 20 against the Tigers with 1 home run, 4 RBIs. The Tigers have walked him 8 times this year. Thornton, 5th in home runs and RBIs and runs scored, 3rd in walks and on-base percentage, 5th in slugging. He has accounted for 26% of the Tribe's total runs this year. Andre has scored 74 and driven in 76. Stretch, pitch. Thornton takes strike 1.
Showing him that big sweeping curveball, throw a good hard sinker, slider, and has had good control this year.
Check the temperature, would you, Sid? Here's the strike 1 pitch. Thornton chops the ball foul back to the base of the screen, and the count is strike 2. First of a brief 2-game set. Indians will be back here one more time before the Tigers come to Cleveland.
will be playing them on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 8th, 9th, and 10th of September. And then the Tigers come back to town on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 15th, 16th, and 17th of September. Stretch by Billingham. 2-strike pitch. Thornton takes a little low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Incidentally, today, right-hand reliever Steve Foucault was claimed on waivers by Kansas City, and the Tigers have purchased a contract of right-hand pitcher Dave Tobick from Evansville. He was a former All-American at Ohio University. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. The pitch is hit into the hole that's short, right through Trammell's legs into left field. That was a croquet shot right through the legs of the shortstop, Alan Trammell.
You will not see that happen very often because he has really played defensively outstandingly well.
Error charged to Trammell. And the batter is Gary Alexander. Alexander, a right-hand batter, catching tonight for the Indians. Hitting .235, 22 homers, 64 runs batted in. 7 for 25 against Detroit in a Cleveland uniform with 3 homers and 11 RBIs. Gary's had 5 hits in his last 9 at-bats. First pitch is a strike of the knees on the inside corner, strike 1. 80 degrees at 8 o'clock, according to the Weather Bureau. Wind is west at 12 miles per hour. The pitch, hit hard but foul down the third base line to the Tiger bullpen. Bangs off the dugout to the usher down that way. Still strike 2. Top of the first inning. Indians with runners at first and at second and 2 outs. Stretch. 2-strike pitch. Check swing. Pitch low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alexander says something to Ron Luciano, and Luciano wants to see the baseball. Takes a look at it. Gives it a little saliva and decides that he can't get the spot off the ball and throws it out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Herb Billingham is one of these guys. If you get to him, you better get him early. If you get in the groove, you're in trouble.
That is right. He starts changing speeds on you and gets that good control working.
1-2 pitch. Alexander hits a very high pop-up down the right side. Corcoran going over into the corner under the ball, makes the catch to retire the side. Oh, in the first inning for the Indians, no runs, a hit, an error, 2 men left. And at the end of 1/2 inning of play, the Indians nothing, and the Tigers are coming to bat.
26 silver dollars. That's right, 26 silver dollars. John Lucas is giving away 26 silver dollars with purchase of selected appliances at the White Westinghouse Anniversary Special Sale going on now at Lucas Appliance in Mount Vernon. A family-size, energy-saving chest freezer or a deluxe 30-inch full-featured electric range, now only $218. That's a savings of over $60, and you could use your 26 silver dollars as down payment. Lucas Appliance at 121 South Main Street in Mount Vernon is having their 26th anniversary sale now.
Here's some great news for people who like to know they've made a smart buy. At Spitzer Dodge in Columbus, we've got the stylish 1978 Dodge Diplomat for just $47.95. That's right, a luxurious Diplomat, not $6,000 or $7,000, just $47.95. And diplomatically speaking, that's a smart buy. This time, instead of Chevy or Ford, pick out a mind changer, the new favorite Diplomat, for just $47.95. See you soon at Spitzer Dodge, a Columbus tradition at 5100 East Main Street.
We're talking about Dave Tobick from Ohio University, and of course he is a native of Euclid, Ohio, and now resides in Lyndhurst. He had a non-roster trial with the Tigers last spring. He will be in uniform tomorrow wearing number 38. He was 5-4 with 9 saves at Evansville and a 3.38 ERA in 33 games with the Triplets. He allowed 72 hits but struck out 70 while walking 26 in 80 innings. 6'1", 190 pounds. And an All-American at Ohio University. He replaces Steve Foucault, who was put on waivers today by the Tigers and claimed by Kansas City. I see the White Sox are going to crank up a new face tonight. Baumgarten is pitching for the Chicago White Sox down in Texas, and he will be going against Doyle Alexander. Leading off for the Detroit Tigers in the home half of the first inning is Ron LaFleur, and he takes the first pitch from David Clyde Loeb, 0-1.
LaFleur 291, 7 homers, 43 RBIs, 9 for 30 against Cleveland with 3 runs batted in. He has a 6-game hitting streak going. Takes the first pitch low, and then the next one high and tight, ball 2. LaFleur has hit safely in 6 straight, 7 for 22, and also hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games. He moves up on a pitch that's a strike, and the count is 2-1. His 5-game scoring streak was snapped last night, but he has crossed the plate 8 times in the last 6 games. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to LaFleur, and he wraps the bouncing ball by Bellman into left field, a base hit. And now that sets the stage for another set of statistics from Ron LaFleur.
That's right.
LaFleur has swiped 24 bases in a row since last being caught at Texas on July 9th. And he needs 2 more to tie Mitchell Page's American League record of 26 straight set last year. He leads
stolen 55.
That tops the American and National League. He's also scored 94 runs, which is tops in both leagues.
He's only been caught 8 times trying to steal.
Now his hitting streak has been extended to 7 straight with that leadoff single against David Clyde. Now we'll see what he does in the bases. And a bunt try by Whitaker is foul tip, strike 1. Whitaker at 300, 2 homers, 41 RBIs, 8 for 18 against Cleveland with 3 RBIs. They have also walked him 5 times. Here comes Jimmy Warfield out to check on Gary Alexander, who took that foul tip on his hand.
Hit him on the gloved hand, however.
Whitaker has had 12 hits in his last 30 at-bats during the 8-game streak. He has scored 10 and batted in 8. Herb, we were impressed with Whitaker when we saw him early in the season. He has done nothing since that time to take away the impressiveness.
I should say not. I was talking with Ralph Houck before the game, and he said that Whitaker and Trammell, he said in all his years of baseball, and he's been around a while, he said he's never seen 2 kids come up at such a young age that work so well together and do the job so well. He said they have just been outstanding. It's a pleasure to watch them.
Milwaukee has taken a 2-0 lead on Toronto at the end of 3 in their first game. Stretch by Clyde with LaFleur at first, and the pitch out evens the count at 1-1. LaFleur was not going. Overall, LaFleur has stolen 55 times in 63 tries. Bell on the grass at third. Stretch and pitch, and Whitaker ducks away from a high, tight fastball, 2-1. Thornton at first, Kuiper at second, Verizon at short, Bell at third, Grubb in left, Manning in center, Norris in right, Alexander catching, and on the mound, the left-hander David Clyde. LaFleur at first and nobody out, 2-1 pitch to Whitaker, swing and a miss, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dick Trzaskowski coaching at third base, Freddie Hatfield at first. Tigers in with a team batting average of .280 and 95 homers, hitting .271 against Cleveland with 4 home runs. 2-2 pitch to Whitaker. Moves up and bunts foul. He's out of there. Whitaker bunts foul on a third strike. Goes as a strikeout. First one for David Clyde. 1 out with LaFleur at first base. Here's Rusty Staub. Staub at 301, 19 homers, 96 RBIs, 7 for 26 against Cleveland with 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in. And the Indians have walked him 7 times. Staub has hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games, 13 for 31 on that span. He's batted in 9 runs now to tie Jim Rice for the Major League lead with 96.
He'll be a post-game guest.
Stretch by Clyde. Looks to LaFleur at first. And the pitch to Staub. Long drive, right center field. Manning going back with a lot of pasture, backpedaling and makes the catch deep in right center. 2 outs. Staub gave that one a long ride. 2 down. Steve Kemp, the batter. Kemp is hitting .283, 9 homers, 59 RBIs, 3 for 29 against Cleveland. 1 home run, 5 runs batted in, and he has walked 5 times against the Tribe. Steve had a rough night in left field last night, and I guess the fans, judging from what you read in the papers, touched him up pretty good. 2 outs with LaFleur at first base in the first inning. Lance Parrish on deck. Stretch by Clyde. And the pitch out. LaFleur not going. Ball 1. Kemp, a left-hand batter. He's hit safely in 14 of his last 15 games, hitting .377 in that span, hitting .318 over his last 20 games, and he's second in the league in walks with 80. Pitch is high and inside. Ball 2. The Detroit Tigers have won 9 out of their last 12, and the Indians have dropped 10 of their last 12. The stretch. Look to first. And the pitch. High and inside with a fastball, 3-0. Tigers have been hot since we saw them last. After their 8-4 win over Cleveland on July 6th, they were 40-41. They're now 64-52. The pitch. Fastball, strike, knee-high inside corner, 3-1. Indians, when they departed Detroit, were at 37-44. They are now 53-64. A stretch. Look to first. 3-1 pitch. LaFleur goes, and the ball's rammed to right center field. Well, tag Manning racing back, can't get it. Bounces up against the wall. LaFleur will score easily. Kept to second base, standing with a double. And the Tigers lead 1-0.
Well, LaFleur running with the pitch, and he scored easily.
That is Steve Kemp's 60th run batted in against Cleveland. And for Steve Kemp, his 14th double of the year. Now this brings to bat Lance Parrish, the right-hand batting catcher, hitting .232, 11 homers, 26 RBIs. Bounces into Alexander, ball 1. Parrish is 4 for 13 with a run batted in against Cleveland this year. The Giants in Montreal, they're scoreless after 1. Blue against Fryman. The stretch, look back to Kemp. Pitch, swing, and a miss on a high fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pirates 2-0 over Cincinnati at the end of 2 in Pittsburgh. And Reggie Smith just hit a grand slam for the Dodgers off Jim Cotta in the 3rd inning. Dodgers leading 4-0 at Philadelphia. Stretch by Clyde, and the 1-1 pitch to Lance Parrish. Swing and a miss. Oh, foul tip. He stays alive. Ball was just grazed on the bat of Parrish, in and out of the mid of Alexander. 1 ball, 2 strikes. David Clyde with a runner at second base and 2 outs. A stretch, 1-2 pitch. Parrish fouls another one back. Bounces off the facing in front of the seats. Ricochets back out to the foul line. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Detroit has taken a 1-0 lead in the first inning here at Tiger Stadium. Single by LaFleur and a 2-out double by Kemp. Stretch by Clyde. And the 1-2 pitch to the left-hand batter. Parrish takes low and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Parrish is 6'3", 195 out of Diamond Bar, California. Clyde the stretch. Look back to Kemp. And the 2-2 pitch to Parrish. Way outside and high. Full count of 3-2. 2 outs. The Tigers lead 1-0. The Indians with a threat on the top of the first could not score against Billingham. Look in for the sign. Here's the stretch. 3-2 pitch to Parrish. Chopped foul behind the plate. And the count is still 3 balls, 2 strikes. The stretch. Look back to Kemp. 3-2 pitch to Parrish. Fastball low, ball 4. That is the first walk given up by David Clyde. Dave now in 103 and 1/3 innings has struck out 55 and walked 42. Kuiper, Clyde, and Alexander will meet on the mound as Aurelio Rodriguez gets ready to step in. Rodriguez hitting .266, 6 homers, 34 runs batted in. 5 for 21 against Cleveland with 2 ribbies. He's hit safely in his last 5 ball games. 6 for 12 in that span. And it is this time of the year that the PR folks sometimes have to reach a little bit to find things to put in their notes. And tonight, with Aurelio Rodriguez, the notes say, one of the few players in Major League history to have each vowel in his first name. Now, that's reaching a little bit.
That is reaching.
Kemp at second, Parrish at first, 2 outs. Tigers lead 1-0. The stretch by David Clyde, the look back, and the bluff by Kuiper toward second. Kemp jumps about a step and a half back toward the bag. Rodriguez, a right-hand batter. A stretch by Clyde, and the pitch to Rodriguez takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Al McRae is on the 8th inning for Kansas City, but that may be too little too late. It is 5-1 in favor of the Twins, and they are batting in the 8th. A stretch. And the pitch hit hard and foul and into the seats in the upper deck on the right.
Depending on what California does with Boston tonight, Kansas City could drop out of first place.
Well, Milwaukee is rolling at the expense of the Blue Jays. They have a 4-0 lead at the end of 4 innings of their first game behind Mike Caldwell. The stretch by Clyde and the 2-strike pitch to Rodriguez. Fastball outside, 1-2.
David Clyde has thrown quite a few pitches here in this first inning.
Tigers lead 1-0. 2 men on, 2 men out. A stretch. And the left-hander with a 1-2 pitch to Rodriguez. High fly ball. Right center field. Manning and Norris getting together, and Jimmy Norris makes the catch. The right fielder retires the side with that grab. But the Tigers get on the scoreboard. 1 run, 2 hits, and a walk with 2 men left. And at the end of 1 inning of play, Detroit 1 and Cleveland 0.
This is Dave Smith from Dave Smith Ford. We're over here in Pataskala, which is halfway between Columbus and Newark, on Route 16. And we will save you money on a new Ford, or as you've heard me say many times, I'll buy you 2 steak dinners. Now, right now, we're having our clearance sale, summer, whatever you want to call it, the end of the 78s, get ready for the 79s. So come on over. We will save you money on a new car. We need used cars. We have a good selection. So come on over and see us, and do your best. We will, too.
Now at Merle's Union 76 station at the corner of Main and Coshocton in Johnstown, your car air conditioning system will be checked inside and out for only $9.95. Now that's some special. Merle's will check your air conditioner condenser for dirt, check the pressure on the high and low side, look for bubbles and leaks, check your thermostat and clutch operation, check coolant and protection levels, check the pressure cap, radiator pressure and cleanliness, and all the radiator and heater hoses and V-belts, all for just $9.95. At Merle's Union 76 station in Johnstown, trust Merle's and cool it.
Top half of the second inning, Carbo, Norris, and Kuiper, 3 left-hand batters against the right-hander Billingham. Hey, Herb and I would like to wish the very best to J.T. Miller of Canton, Ohio, the young man just home from the hospital after sustaining a foot injury. And we understand that J.T. is numbered among the best of Indian fans down around Canton, Ohio, and we sincerely hope that he's back in good health in the very near future. And we're happy to have him listening in tonight. Down on the farm last night, the opponents won 2 and the weatherman got the other 2. Albuquerque shut out Portland 4-0. One of the few times Portland's been shut out this year.
They've been banging the ball.
They were held to 3 hits. Tom McGuff took the loss. Chattanooga and Waterloo were both rained out. Little Falls beat Batavia in the New York Penn League in both games of a twilight doubleheader. Pitch to Carbo, fastball inside, ball 1. Bernie hitting .262, 2 homers, 14 RBIs, 4 for 14 against Detroit with 1 run batted in. Little Falls beat Batavia 8-7 and 7-0. Saavedra hit a home run for Batavia in the first game, but Bozeman threw a no-hitter in the nightcap for Little Falls. There's a shot up the middle on the ground and into center field, a base hit by Whitaker. Well, Bernie Carbo spanks the ball on the ground right up the middle. Whitaker came galloping over behind the bag but couldn't flag it down, and the Indians have their second hit. Jimmy Norris, the left-hand batting right fielder, .269. 2 homers, 20 RBIs. He is 0 for 7 against Detroit with 1 run batted in. Tigers lead 1-0 in the top half of the second inning. Jack Billingham looking for win number 13. And tomorrow night we look at another 12-game winner, Jim Slayton. Stretch of the pitch, fastball, low, ball 1. Tigers 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. And the Indians no runs, 2 hits, no errors. A stretch. Pitch. Fastball again low to Norris. Ball 2. 2-0. Jack Billingham. Had some fine days with the Cincinnati Reds. He throws a pitch outside to Norris. Now the count goes to 3-0, and the Indians may be on the verge of getting something started here in the second inning. Tigers picked up a run in the first on a single by LaFleur and a 2-out double by Kemp. A stretch. 3-0 pitch. Norris takes a strike on the outside part of the plate above the knees. 3-1. Ernie Carbo at first base. Mickey Stanley holding in the bag. A stretch. And a 3-1 pitch. Norris chops the ball foul over to the first base dugout. Usher beats the ball boy to the ball. Pretty good race. A 3-2 count. Indians occupy the first base dugout here at Tiger Stadium. And the Detroit Tigers almost below us here on the third base side. Herb and I sit in a ideal place to see the ball game, looking right up the first base foul line and about 70 feet from home plate. Wrapped down the first base line. Great grab by Stanley diving. Throws to second and got Carbo trapped off the bag. Flips to Rodriguez. Running him back to second, and it's a double play. Oh, my.
Carbo didn't know where the ball was. He made the turn at second base and took about a step and a half or 2 steps behind the bag and just stopped and looked around. And when he looked towards second base, there was Whitaker with the ball chasing him.
Stanley engineered the whole thing with a spectacular dive toward the foul line. Caught the ball on one hop, falling on the bag for the out, straightened up, and then found Mr. Carbo wandering between second and third, and they ran him down. Now there are 2 outs and nobody on. Here's Dwayne Kuiper at bat, and Dwayne pops the foul over our heads. Out of play, strike 1. Kuiper hitting .285, 33 RBIs, 5 for 23 against Detroit. Kuiper's been sidelined since August the 11th with cartilage damage in his right knee, and he had collected 10 hits and 28 at-bats prior to the injury. Takes high outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wind up in the next pitch. Kuiper fouls it back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That play went 3-6-5 on the rundown of Carbo. Two outs and nobody on. Here's the 1-2 pitch. High. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Billingham looks in, gets the sign. Wind up. 2-2 pitch to Dwayne. Kuiper hits the bouncing ball up the middle behind the bag. Grabbed by Whitaker, but no chance to throw. Kuiper beats out the infield hit. Dwayne Kuiper returns to the lineup with a bouncing single. That is the 3rd Indian hit. I tell you, that Dwayne Kuiper is something else.
He sure is.
You put that kind of desire and determination and hustle into 25 people in the same uniform, you're going to have yourself a ball club that'll just beat you to death. Tom Verizor, .291, 24 RBIs, 7 for 20 against his former teammates with 1 run batted in. Pitch to Tommy Lowe. Good stop on a bouncing pitch by Parrish. He had to go quickly to his right and take that ball on the bounce in the left-hand batter's box. One-0 count on Verizor. Kuiper leads at first base. Stanley holding in the bag. Stretched by Billingham. Pitch to Verizor. Fastball inside. Ball 2. Tommy back down in the number 9 spot in the order where he has done so very well this year. Rick Manning on deck. Stretched by Billingham. Pitch to Verizor. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike. There's a pretty healthy breeze roaring by this ballpark, but down inside, not quite that strong a wind. When you get something up in the air, it might ride. Pitch to Verizor, bouncing ball to the shortstop. Trammell has it, flips over to Whitaker for the force on Kuiper, and the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits with a man left. And at the end of 1 1/2 innings of play, the score, the Detroit Tigers won, the Cleveland Indians nothing.
Say, did you hear about all the great specials at Awe Car Wash in Newark? Yeah, Wednesday is Ladies' Day. A wash is only 99 cents with a fill-up and $1.49 without. Thursday is Senior Citizens Day, and a wash with fill-up is just 69 cents, $1.29 without. Listen, Friday is TGIF Day, and Saturday is Hot Wax Day. Hot Wax for just 79 cents. And on your birthday, you get a free car wash, and there's free vacuuming all the time. At All Car Wash at South 30th Street in Newark and Mount Vernon and Delaware.
Here's some great news for people who like to know they've made a smart buy. At Spitzer Dodge in Columbus, we've got the stylish 1978 Dodge Diplomat for just $47.95. That's right, a luxurious Diplomat, not $6,000 or $7,000, just $47.95. And diplomatically speaking, that's a smart buy. This time, instead of Chevy or Ford, pick out a mind changer, the new favorite Diplomat, for just $47.95. See you soon at Spitzer Dodge, a Columbus tradition at 5100 East Main Street.
Afternoon action in the National League. Houston beat St. Louis 4-2. San Diego beat New York 2-1, and Atlanta blanked the Cubs 9-0. Both Phil Niekro and Joe Niekro started, won, and went the distance today. Joe for the Astros and Phil for the Braves. Tonight, Pirates 2-0 over Cincinnati in the fourth. The Dodgers 4-1 over the Phillies in the fifth. The Giants and the Expos scoreless in the third. Minnesota 5-1 over Kansas City in the eighth inning of their first game. Milwaukee 4-0 over Toronto in the fifth inning of their first game. First pitch to Mickey Stanley in the second inning is a swinging strike one. Stanley, 264, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, and 2 for 9 in the series against the Cleveland Indians this year. Wind up by Clyde to the pitch. Stanley drives one into left field. Johnny Grubb going back, getting under the ball, and makes the catch about a step away from the warning path. One out of the second inning. The batter is Tim Corcoran, the right fielder, left-hand batter. Corcoran at 269, 1 homer, 22 RBIs, 2 for 9 against Cleveland thus far this year. He has had 10 hits in his last 26 at-bats, hitting safely in 6 of his last 7 games, and he has had 7 RBIs in that span. Start of the year, Charlie Spikes and Corcoran were scheduled to duel it out for that right field spot. Charlie ended up in Evansville and also on the injured list. Bunt, beauty, third base side, Bell, no chance. Base hit. Boy, Corcoran laid down a perfect bunt.
No chance to get in.
Bunt single for Tim Corcoran. Hits are now even at 3. And it brings on Alan Trammell, the shortstop. Trammell at 255, 2 homers, 22 RBIs, 5 for 14 against Cleveland with 1 run batted in. 1 out, 1 on. Second inning, Tigers lead 1-0. Trammell looks down to the third base coach, Dick Tracewski, for the signs. Dick Tracewski's taking his television set and he's risking a TV set. He's going to have Howard Stitzel, our engineer, fix it. Say goodbye to the TV set. Pitch is inside, ball 1. You are living dangerously when you hand Mr. Stitzel a screwdriver.
Living dangerously when you're just close to him.
1-0 count on Alan Trammell. The stretch by the left-hander, David Clyde, looks to first base and delivers to Trammell. Inside again, ball 2. Howard Stitzel was the engineer for the Detroit Tigers for how many years, Howard? 27 years.
He was the engineer for Marconi. What are you talking about?
Here's the stretch look to first base. 2-0 pitch. Trammell hits it hard up the middle. Verizon near the bag. Goes over, steps on second, throws to first, double play. No runs and a hit with nobody left. At the end of 2, it is Detroit 1, Cleveland nothing.
About time you got here. Can't lay another foot of track till we unload your flat cars.
Help yourself. And there's a mail pouch for you back in the caboose.
Oh, that'll have my tobacco in it. Hank, tell the men I got some real fine leaf tobacco for chewing. Came in the mail pouch. The men who want to share line up at the caboose. Hey, you others, get these barrels of spikes off the flat car.
The story of a great American tradition. Mail pouch chewing tobacco. Mail pouch was America's first brand of leaf tobacco, and it's been pleasing men ever since. That's because Mail pouch has its own special one-of-a-kind flavor that comes from over 90 years' experience in giving tobacco chewers what they want. A clean, fresh taste that's not too strong, but isn't too sweet either. A flavor that really lasts and satisfies a man all day long. So if you haven't tried Mail pouch lately, chew a few packs and taste the Mail pouch difference. You'll see why it's become a tradition to chew Mail pouch. And treat yourself to the best.
In the the top of the third inning, Manning, Bell, and Grubb, the top of the Indians' order against Jack Billingham. The Tigers leading 1-0 in the first inning. Ron LaFleur singled to left, and with 2 out, Kemp bashed a double to drive home LaFleur from first base. Out to the top of the third, Manning single to left field to start the ball game for the Indians. They got him as far as second base on an error. That's as far as he could go in the first inning. Rick Manning, left-hand batter. Billingham standing behind the mound. I thought he was doing an Al Robaski there for a minute.
Almost. Either that or he swallowed his chew.
Here's the wind-up first pitch to Manning. Fastball, strike one on the outside corner.
I don't think he chews.
Strike one pitch. Manning hits it hard up the middle. Whitaker knocks at it with the glove. Couldn't stop it. It got by him. And Manning should be 2 for 2. Base hit for Manning. That is the Indians' 4th hit. Now, if our engineer was really on the ball, he would fix the squawk box so we could hear the official score from upstairs. A word to the wise. Here's the stretch, the pitch. Manning going. Bell hits the ball to third. Rodriguez, no chance at second. Throws on over to first. Bell is out and a runner at second base. 1 out. That could have very easily have been 2 had Manning not been going. Johnny Grubb, a line drive to the center fielder in the first inning of play. Detroit leads 1-0. We're in the top of the third inning. You know, Herb, in terms of watching a ball game, I like this vantage point better than any place in baseball. This is one of the really nice ballparks. It's one of the older ones, but it's well kept. And I think for the fans and almost any seat they sit in, they're very close to the action. Time called. And that goes doubly so for us. We're suspended from the facing the upper deck. We actually protrude out from the upper deck. The stretch. Look back pitch. That is a ball low. Ball 1. Top of the third. Detroit leads 1-0. Stretch by Billingham. Looks back to Manning. 1-0 pitch. Grubb takes one outside. Ball 2. 2-0. Andre Thornton on deck. Tigers 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error. The Indians no runs on 4 base hits. A stretch, the pitch, and Grubb hits the ball foul through the coach's box at first base down to the bullpen. The count is 2-1. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, game 2 of this brief 2-game set. And tomorrow night, for the Cleveland Indians, Dave Freisleben. And for the Detroit Tigers, it will be Jim Slayton. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Grubb. John takes a strike, knee-high on the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Looking ahead to the Indians' homestand of the weekend against the White Sox. Friday night, Mike Froley against Rick Wise. Saturday night, Francisco Barrios against Mike Paxton. Sunday afternoon, Steve Stone against Rick Waits. Stretch, 2-2 pitch to Grubb. Check swing, in time, ball 3, 3-2.
What a tough loss that Steve Stone had last night. He gave up only 2 hits. One of them, a home run to Richie Zisk, and he lost 1-0. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 out on the top of the third. Manning at second base. The stretch, payoff pitch to John. He bounces the ball back to the second baseman, Whitaker. Throws to first, and Manning checks in at third base with 2 outs. Andre Thornton, the batter. He had a ground ball that went right through the legs of Alan Trammell, a shortstop, for an error in the first inning. Thornton officially 0 for 1 on the night. Indians had 2 men on in the first inning, couldn't score. Had 2 hits in the second inning and couldn't score. Now we have a runner at third with 2 outs in the third. Look in for the sign, and here's the wind-up and the pitch to Thornton, and a fastball, strike 1. Every once in a while, Jack Billingham can still bring that fastball, and he did right there.
looks into Parrish and gets the sign. Manning leading at third base. Dillingham nods and then steps back. Time called for the moment. Now both men are set. Strike one pitch to Thornton. He's going to bunt. Drops it third base side of the mound. Here comes Manning. Pick up by Billingham. Throw to first base, and they got him by an eyelash.
Whoa, is that close?
Close play at first base, but it retires the side. And in the third inning, no runs, one hit, and a man left. At the end of 2 1/2 innings of play, Detroit 1, Cleveland nothing.
You know, listening to Major League Baseball on 3WJ is a great way to follow the national pastime. But to really appreciate the game and the players' talents, at least once in a while, you should see a game in person. And those of us at 3WJ would like you to see the exciting Cleveland Indians on us during our Tribe Ticket Giveaway. All you have to do is send us your name, address, and phone number. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during the noon news, we'll draw a name to win 2 tickets to an Indians home game of your choice. If your name is drawn, your tickets will go into the mail that same day. And we won't stick you out in the left field bleachers, but in box seats, so you'll be right next to the action. To enter, send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard or letter to Tribe Tickets, 3WJ, P.O. Box 373, Johnstown, Ohio, 43031. Again, that's Tribe Tickets, P.O. Box 373, Johnstown, Ohio, 43031. To win 2 box seat tickets to a Cleveland Indians baseball game of your choice. Entries are limited to 1 per week, so enter today and let 3WJ take you out to the ball game.
Well, the first game is over in Minnesota, and the Minnesota Twins knocked off Kansas City 5-1, Zahn over Bird. In the second game, it'll be Splittorff against Perzanowski. Here in the third inning for the Detroit Tigers, the top of their order, Ron LaFleur. He got things rolling for the Tigers with a hit in the first inning, eventually scored on a 2-out double by Kemp. Wind up by David Clyde to the first pitch to LaFleur. It is a ball. Ball 1. Next pitch to LaFleur. He rammed over Verizer's glove as he leaped up for that shot. Into left field, a single, and LaFleur is 2 for 2.
Well, they told us when we got here today he is hot, and he is.
Oh, with a runner at first base and nobody out, 4 hits for the Tigers. Here's Lou Whitaker. He tried to bunt his way out in the first inning and was out on a bunted third strike. Stretch by Clyde. Look to LaFleur. Look at him again. And the pitch. Whitaker takes low. Ball 1. Mentioned before that Ron LaFleur has stolen 24 straight, 2 away from the American League record set last year by Mitchell Page, and ended, by the way, by the Indians. 1-0 pitch will come after a throw, puts LaFleur back in the bag. Cincinnati has tied up Pittsburgh 2-2 at the end of 4. And the Dodgers have knocked out Cott in the 5th. Another throw to first base, and LaFleur back easily. Home half of the third inning. The Tigers leading 1-0. LaFleur at first base. Nobody out. 1-0 count to Whitaker. Fastball high, ball 2. Whitaker is one of these young fellas who had better walk into the ballpark with the rest of the team or they won't let him through the gates. Very young-looking guy. 2-0 pitch. Fastball inside, ball 3. Whitaker is only 21 years old, but he looks like he's about 15. And he plays like he's been around for 5 years. Stretch. 3-0 pitch. Inside and high, ball 4. Now LaFleur goes to second base on the walk to... And he plays like he's been around for 5 years. Stretch. 3-0 pitch. Inside and high, ball 4. Now LaFleur goes to second base on the walk to Whitaker, and now the Tigers have something cranked up. second walk by Clyde to go with one strikeout. Rusty Staub, first time up, he sent Manning deep into center field to haul down a fly ball. Kuiper, Clyde, and Alexander have a conference on the mound. Staub leading the majors with 96 runs batted in. And as Herb mentioned, he will be Herb's guest tonight on the 10th inning show here at Tiger Stadium. Clyde looks in, stretches. And the pitch to Staub. He takes the fastball, the strike of the knees, strike one.
Sometimes David Clyde threw the ball about as well as he's throwing, but any time tonight, he really cut that one loose.
Staub, the batter. Steve Kemp on deck. Clyde looks back to LaFleur at second. Looks at him again and steps back.
Rusty Staub choking that bat up about 4 inches, 3.5, 4 inches.
It's a very small bat as well. Stretch. And Clyde with the strike one pitch to Staub. Curve is high. 1-1.
We're going to talk to him on the post-game show. We've already recorded it, and we'll be talking about the fact that he's a fellow who's driven in 96 runs already, hit 19 home runs. He still chokes up the bat.
Stretch by Clyde, the 1-1 pitch. Staub takes one low, gets away from Alexander, and the runners move to second and third while Alexander raced over to the on-deck circle to pick it up.
He did a great job of just even getting a glove on that ball. That ball bounced in the right-hand hitting batter's box, almost out of the right-hand hitting batting box.
Well, the Tigers now have runners at second and third and nobody out. David Clyde uncorking his 8th wild pitch of the year. The Indians' 45th, and the bullpen for the Tribe, Dan Spillner, is throwing. 2 balls, 1 strike. LaFleur at third, Whitaker at second. Nobody out. A stretch and pitch. There's a drive into right field. Jimmy Nora stabs the liner. LaFleur tags. He's coming home over to third base. Goes Whitaker, and it's 2-0. That was a sacrifice line drive. Deep to right.
97 runs batted in for Rusty Staub.
Nothing Detroit. The 8th RBI that Staub has had against the Indians this year. Brings up Steve Kemp. He doubled in the first Tiger run. Whitaker at third base and 1 out. Stretch by Clyde and the pitch, and Kemp takes a strike to the knees of the outside corner. Strike 1. Thornton, Kuiper, Verizon, and Bell all pulled in around the edge of the infield grass. Stretch, strike 1 pitch. That is strike 2. 0-2 count.
Steve Kemp backing out of the batter's box, nodding his head, yes, 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 as if to say to Luciano, you're right. I don't know why I didn't swing.
Clyde looks in and gets the sign. Here's the stretch. And the 0-2 pitch to Kemp. Swing and a miss, struck him out with a curveball. That is the second strikeout for David Clyde. And it brings on Lance Parrish. Parrish walked in the first inning of play. Dodgers now 5-1 over the Phillies in the 5th. White Sox get a run on the first at Texas. Rangers are now batting Bumgarten against Alexander. Fastball is high to Lance Parrish, ball 1. And Montreal has a 1-0 lead over the Giants at the end of 4. Dodgers could well be in first place by themselves when the evening is over. Pitch to Parrish, low and inside, ball 2, 2-0. Well, Heisel just hit number 28, and Yacht hit number 3. And Milwaukee now in front 7-0 after 6 of their first game. Stretch by Clyde, and the 2-0 pitch, and Parrish hits it hard to third. Picked up by Bell, throws across, Parrish is out, and the side is retired. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 wild pitch, and 1 left. At the end of 3 innings of play, Detroit 2, Cleveland nothing.
Whenever it's time for the great game of baseball, when do you say Budweiser? Whenever the ump tells the players to play ball, after a double play, a pitch hit that saves the day. Anytime's the right time to say it. When do you say Budweiser? Not the beer for any time at all. After a long home run, after the game is won, King of Beers is waiting for your call. When you say Budweiser, when you say yay baseball, when you say Budweiser, you say it all. You say it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Well, before we do anything else, let's pause for station identification. This is the Cleveland Indians Baseball Network.
This is 3WJ, Central Ohio's home of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Browns, and Indians. WWJ, Johnstown.
Inning number 4, and here's Herb Score.
Thank you, John. Hi again, everybody. For the Indians, Alexander Carbo Norris come up against Jack Billingham. The Indians trail in this game 2-0. It's Billingham against David Clyde. Billingham has surrendered 4 hits, but the Indians have not been able to cross home plate yet. Gary Alexander, first time up, lifted a high, towering fly ball to right field, caught out there by Corcoran. Jack Billingham, big fella, 6'4", 215 pounds. Inside and low ball 1. Billingham started his baseball career in 1961 with Orlando, back in the Florida State League then. There's a strike over the outside corner, knee high. First came up to the major leagues with the Dodgers in 1968 briefly. Went to Houston. Arrived in Cincinnati in 1972, and there he had some really good years. Twice won 19 games. He was traded here to the Tigers during spring training this year. Ground ball, sharply hit, 1 bounce to the shortstop. Trammell, the long throw, they get Gary Alexander. 6-3 on the out. Young Mr. Trammell can pop that baseball. The batter now will be the Indian designated hitter, Ernie Carbo. First time up, he bounced one right through the middle. First pitch is over at the knees, strike, a curveball. Time call. They'd like that baseball examined. Ron Luciano looks it over, says nothing wrong with it, throws it right back. Wind up and the pitch. Curveball, this one stays high. Ball 1, strike 1. They do not post the batting averages here in Tiger Stadium, so they don't keep them current. Ernie Carbo started out hitting 262. He's probably hits about 265. Line drive, right field, base hit. He waited on the curveball and slammed it to right. So Bernie Carbo is 2 for 2. Indians collect their 5th base hit. They have out hit the Tigers now 5-4, but the Tigers have outrun them 2-0. Jimmy Norris smashed one that looked like it might be a base hit down the first base side. Mickey Stanley, playing first base, dove at the ball, grabbed it. In fact, he landed right on top of the bag, scrambled up through to second. Carbo had made a turn at second, and when he looked back, there was the shortstop with the baseball chasing him.
Carbo now up to 271. Pitch to Jimmy, bouncing ball. This one goes over the head of Stanley into right field. Carbo to second, makes the turn. He'll go for third. The throw is all the way through and grabbed by Rodriguez off the bag. Holding at first is Norris with a base hit. At third base, Carbo. With 1 man down, Indians have runners at first and at third, and here's Dwayne Kuiper. First time up in the game, Kuiper bounced a single right through the middle. Carbo at third, Norris at first. Here's a fellow who said, ran to Detroit from Cleveland Heights to see the tribe and say hello. He said, I jogged all the way. Must have left Christmas Day or something. Who is this fellow? Ron Lawrence. I wonder if that's true. If he did, boy, that's something. Here's the pitch, a bouncing ball, first base, grabbed by Stanley. He has Carbo stuck off third, running toward him, throws to Rodriguez. Rodriguez now throws home. They're going to have Carbo hung up. They make the tag ahead, throw to third, and almost nailed Norris. No, the Tigers were trying to time that. They had everybody jockeying back and forth, hoping they could get Carbo running toward third, and also Norris coming to third. Carbo stayed in the rundown long enough to let Jimmy get into third base. So it'll be a fielder's choice. And it will go 3 to 2, or 3 to 5 to 2. And on the play, Norris legs it around to third, and Kuiper goes to second. But now there are 2 men out. Tommy Verizon, the batter, hit a ground ball his first time up. That's the shortstop grabbed and forced the runner at second on. Billingham will go from the windup. 2 men in scoring position, 2 men out. Curveball slips it over, but high, ball 1. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss on the slider. Frank and Wilma Hipley and Eric Heinz here tonight. They say they're from the Akron area. They came over to see the Indians play. Pitch to Tommy, foul back and out of play. Tommy came into the game with a batting average of .291. No home runs, 24 runs batted in. Two strikes on Tom. Schumann out. Indian runners at second and at third. They trail 2-0 here in the fourth. Rick Manning's on deck, and he is 2 for 2 in the game. Indians have had 6 base hits. And they're trying to get their first run. Billingham checking the sign with Lance Parrish. Wind up and the pitch. Check swing, strike 3 call. Slider over the inside corner. Tommy Verizon looks back to the umpire and says, did I swing? And he says no, and he points to home plate, says it was over. First strikeout for Billingham, and he could not pick the better spot for himself to get it. For the Indians in the fourth inning, no runs. They get 2 more hits. No errors. They leave 2 more. They've now left 6 men in the first 4 innings. And at the middle of the fourth inning, the score. Tigers 2, Indians nothing.
This is Dave Smith from Dave Smith Ford. We're over here in Pataskala, which is halfway between Columbus and Newark, on Route 16. And we will save you money on a new Ford, or as you've heard me say many times, I'll buy you 2 steak dinners. Now, right now, we're having our clearance sale, summer, whatever you want to call it, the end of the 78s, get ready for the 79s. So come on over. We will save you money on a new car. We need used cars. We have a good selection. So come on over and see us, and do your best. We will, too.
What flowers have to say are things words just can't express. In times of joy or sorrow, a gift of plants or flowers from the Posy Pot in Johnstown is always perfect. At the same location for over 30 years, the Posy Pot at 56 East Coshocton offers the same friendly service generations have grown with, and the same quality flowers and plants guaranteed to please. Your Visa or MasterCharge cards are welcome, and the Posy Pot also delivers.
Aurelio Rodriguez leads off the fourth inning for the Tigers. Tigers leading 2-0. Indians have had some scoring opportunities, but have not been able to get the base hit when they really needed it. Here's Rodriguez, who's flied to right his only time up. Swing and a miss on the curve. David Clyde with that good overhand curveball. Aurelio, a right-handed batter. Started out with the California Angels back several years ago. Ended up in a big trade with then Washington. Curveball too low. Came over here in a rather large steal. And is Not many third basemen around baseball anywhere that has a truer or stronger throwing arm than Rodriguez. 1 ball and a strike. Fastball foul back. This one gets a piece of Gary Alexander. It's twice he's been hit tonight. Ball 1, strike 2. Ron Luciano umpiring at home plate. Kenny Kaiser at first. Mike Riley, the second base umpire. Third base umpire is Bill Haller. The windup and the pitch. Curveball wrapped toward the shortstop. Grabbed by Tommy Verizza. Throws across and gets it. 6-3 on the out. 1 man gone. 4th inning. Brings up Mickey Stanley. Mickey, the oldest Tiger in terms of service. Let's see, Mickey. They said, well, he's in his 13th year in the major leagues. All with the Tigers. Swing and a miss on David Clyde's curve. Strike 1. Mickey tonight, flying to left field, his only time up. .61, about 195 pounds, just turned 36 years old. Long drive, left field, it is curving, it is a foul ball in the seat. Oh, my. Well, he hit a curve, and it curved when it left the bat, thank goodness. 2 strikes on Mickey Stanley.
Ever since Texas, anything headed for the foul pole makes me nervous.
I should say. 1 man down, 4th inning. Indians on top, or behind now, 2-0. Fastball inside, drives him back. Ball 1, strike 2. David Clyde cut loose with his best fastball that time. Ooh, the Cincinnati Reds were just jolted by 4 runs off the bats of the Pirates. Curveball too low, 2-2. Game was tied going into the last half of inning number 5. Pirates came up with 4. They now lead Cincinnati 6-2. Somebody did some damage in that inning.
Bill Robinson, a 3-run homer.
2-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 call. He buzzed it over the outside part of the plate waist high. Stanley looks at a 3rd strike. And the 3rd strikeout for left-handed David Clyde brings up Tim Corcoran. He laid down a perfect bunt single his first time up. Got his batting average up over the 270 mark.
By the way, I understand that Nestor Shylock now has returned to his home to recuperate from his siege in the hospital and reportedly is in fine fettle.
Fastball inside. I think it nipped him. Apparently it didn't. Right around the letters. Ball 1. Nestor left the hospital fairly early and been recovering at home. And we certainly wish him the best. He is, my way of thinking, the best umpire I've seen. Curveball, strike over the outside corner. David Clyde in this inning has had the best curveball he's had all game long. Looks like he's really started to get right through it. 1 ball and a strike. Wind up, 1-1 pitch. Fastball, swung on a miss, blew it right by him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 4th inning. Tigers 2, Indians nothing. Indians have 6 hits, the Tigers have 4. Tigers single runs in the 1st and in the 3rd. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on the fastball. David Clyde gets him down 1-2-3 in the 4th inning, striking out 2, and he has now retired the last 6 men that he's faced. For the Tigers, no runs, no hits, no errors, nothing across. End of 4 innings in Tiger Stadium, the first of a 2-game series. It's Detroit 2 and Cleveland nothing.
Here's some great news for people who like to know they've made a smart buy. At Spitzer Dodge in Columbus, we've got the stylish 1978 Dodge Diplomat for just $47.95. That's right, a luxurious Diplomat, not $6,000 or $7,000, just $47.95. And diplomatically speaking, that's a smart buy. This time, instead of Chevy or Ford, pick out a mind changer, the new favorite Diplomat, for just $47.95. See you soon at Spitzer Dodge, a Columbus tradition at 5100 East Main Street.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our car wash. Would you like to see one of our menus? That's right. See, we have specials every day of the week. Sunday is Family Day. A wash is only 99 cents with a fill-up. The same on Monday for Men's Day. And on Tuesday, get your car care card double punch toward the next free wash. There's free vacuuming. And listen to this. On your birthday, just show your driver's license and get a free wash. All at our car wash at 30th in Newark and Mount Vernon and Delaware.
Now we roll along into inning number 5, and for the Indians, they will send to the plate the top of the batting order. And it has been very productive for Rick Manning so far because he is 2 for 2. Manning, Bell, and Grubb coming against Jack Billingham. Indians trail 2-0. Manning single to left, single right up the middle. Both times hit the ball solidly. They're playing him straight away in the outfield. The pitch, line foul, third base side, and scattering a couple of members of the ground crew sitting along the railing down near the Tiger bullpen. Breeze still whipping around on top of the stadium. We can't feel much of it down here in the stadium. Curveball bouncing in front of home plate, a ball and a strike. Here in Tiger Stadium, it is a completely surrounded ballpark. Double-decked all the way around until the power alleys in both left center and right center. Then they have an open upper deck, which they consider the bleachers. But you can watch the flags on top of this ballpark, and there's a lot of wind blowing. 1-1 pitch. Bouncing foul over near the Indian dugout this time. And again, the usher beats the bat boy to the ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball, it's second base side. Grabbed by Lou Whitaker, picks it up, throws him out. And Rick Manning shattered his bat on that one. They're not booing here. That noise from the stands. They're going, Lou. He has become quite a favorite here. 1 man down in the 5th inning for the Indians. And Buddy Bell, who is fouled to the right field. A good running catch by Corcoran. Grounded out to the third baseman. Buddy 0 for 2. On deck, John Grubb. Johnny's sliding that lead donut up on the barrel of the bat. Bouncing ball, shortstop side. Al Trammell has this one. Throws. He gets him. 2 up, 2 down. This one on a 6-3 play. Johnny Grubb is lined out to the center fielder, grounded out to the second baseman. He's 0 for 2. Latest report from Milwaukee, 6 innings in their first game with Toronto. Milwaukee cruising along with a 7-0 lead. Yount and Heisel have homered. Heisel's home run is 28th, and Joe and I were talking between innings. That ties Jim Rice for the league lead. One try, missed, strike 1. Let's see, Heisel's home run came with nobody on. I don't know how many RBIs that is. He's up in the 80s, though. I've got the thing somewhere found here. I got it right here. Lined up, the pitch. Low, 1 ball and a strike.
Heisel now with 87 runs batted in at least, because he may have had more earlier in the game.
1-1 pitch. Fastball. It is a bit off the outside part of the plate. 2 balls and a strike. Jack Billingham not really certain that umpire Luciano saw that one correctly. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the delivery. Curveball slips it over but low. 3-1. Billingham has a funny little motion. Not really sidearm, but he hides the ball well. Sort of short arms you once in a while. Bouncing ball foul to the right of home plate. Umpire Ron Luciano looks the ball over, says it's fit to use. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 5th inning, Indians trailing by 2-0. This afternoon in the National League, 3 afternoon games, a big afternoon really in baseball. St. Louis at home against Houston, lost. Houston 4-2 over the St. Louis Cardinals. San Diego at New York, San Diego 2, the Mets 1. And Atlanta in Chicago bombed the Cubs 9-0. Foul ball back above our heads to the right, upstairs. Now that's the kind, partner, that comes in this way, get down quick.
There's just one thing I want to get straight. You can call the Cubs anything you want. Good, bad, nasty. Never call them the White Sox.
No?
Never.
No? Bad.
I get very uptight when you do that.
3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball and foul just outside the line. Oh, got a pretty good shot at that because we look right down the first baseline. That ball, from here, it looked like it almost went right over the first corner of first base on the home plate side. It was looking all the way, very close. Umpire down that way is Kenny Kaiser, and he was right behind it. Home plate umpire Ron Luciano looking also. Let's see. Speaking of the White Sox, they lead Texas 2-0 at the end of an inning and a half. I wasn't speaking of the White Sox? No. Okay. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 men down. The pitch. Ground ball sharply hit toward second baseman Whitaker. He picks it up, throws him out. And on 3 ground balls, the Indians are gone 1, 2, 3 in the 5th inning. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across. At the middle of 5 here in Tiger Stadium, the score, the Cleveland Indians nothing, the Detroit Tigers 2.
The Technical Rubber Company in Johnstown is growing with its hometown. Tech Rubber is now known the world over for their superior tire and tube repair products and accessories. Tech is a home-owned and operated business that cares about its employees and its hometown. And Tech Rubber's on the way up, with products now used and distributed in over 40 countries around the world. Tech Rubber, featuring a complete line of dependable tire and tube repair products and accessories. The Technical Rubber Company Incorporated in Johnstown, Ohio.
Here's some great news for people who like to know they've made a smart buy. At Spitzer Dodge in Columbus, we've got the stylish 1978 Dodge Diplomat for just $47.95. That's right, a luxurious Diplomat, not $6,000 or $7,000, just $47.95. And diplomatically speaking, that's a smart buy. This time, instead of Chevy or Ford, pick out a mind changer, the new favorite Diplomat, for just $47.95. See you soon at Spitzer Dodge, a Columbus tradition at 5100 East Main Street.
Well, we go now into the latter half of the 5th inning. It is 2-0. The Detroit Tigers, they scored a run in the first, a run in the third, and they've made it stand up thus far. David Clyde has retired the last 6 men, and 3 of those on strikeouts. In last inning, he threw the ball as well as he's thrown it in his last 4 or 5 starts. Al Trammell will come along. He is a 20-year-old young man from San Diego, California. Just really a baby as far as baseball is concerned. And we told you earlier that Ralph Harper was saying that with Trammell at 20 and Whitaker at 21, he said they are the 2 best young second base, shortstop, double play combination to come along at one time that he's ever seen in his years in baseball. That's high praise. Lou Whitaker, of course, being considered for the Rookie of the Year and pretty good credentials with a batting average of 300. Al Trammell is sitting at 255 with 2 home runs, 22 runs batted in. Hit into a double play started by the shortstop his first time up. Right-in batter. Pitched by David Clyde. The curve is a bunt try. Foul back, strike 1. Minnesota won the first game at home against Kansas City 5-1. Second game, Splitoff and Perzanowski will go. 1 strike. Wind up in the pitch. Fastball, high fly ball, shallow center field. Manning on the go, still coming, reaches out, makes the running catch. Rick Manning eating up the ground with that speed. And Trammell flies to shallow center, 1 gone, 5th inning. Here's Ron LaFleur, who has singled twice to left. One, a line drive over the head of Verizon. The other, a sharp ground ball between Verizon and Buddy Bell. Came in hitting at 291, so he's up around the 295, 296 mark. Wind up. Left-handed throws, a curve low, ball 1. My partner with his trusty calculator will tell us that it is 294. Fastball too low. LaFleur's been up that many times where it's very tough to raise the average. About this time of year, you usually go up 2 points with a hit and down 1 point if you don't get a hit. 2 balls, no strikes. Foul back. And this one hits Gary Alexander, and that hurt him. He is down. Umpire Luciano calling for Jimmy Warfield to come out. That got him on the left shoulder. And as you may recall, he was hit on the left shoulder about 5 or 6 days ago.
Right.
And there was a point when he got hit the last time, he could hardly raise that left arm. We talked about this the other day with Jeff Torborg, and now we have a little time as they're working on Gary down around home plate. When you talk about a catcher, and you look at his batting average or something and see a fellow might not be hitting too high, or no matter what he's hitting, you just have to consider that
hitting is a very exact science. When you ball's getting up there at 90-plus miles an hour, you have about 2/5 of a second to react. And a catcher is always full of bruises. He gets hit on the arms, the hands, the legs, and it's got to be very difficult. They get down, they got to squat down every pitch, get up and down. It takes a lot out of them. And when you get a catcher hitting around 280, 290, you have a fellow who's done a whale of a job. 2-2 pitch, bounces in. This one hits Gary in the pit of the stomach. 3-1.
You remember a couple of years ago, Ray Fosse, when he had that year where he just got nailed every time he turned around?
Right.
His body looked like a road map by the end of the year.
Yeah, he was very fair-skinned, and every time he got a bruise, you could spot it. 3-1 pitch. Ground ball, shortstop side, backhanded by Verizon. He's going to have to hurry the long throw. He gets him. Good play by Tom Verizon. Oh, he had no time to waste on that one. 6-3 on the out. LaFleur is cut down by less than a half a step. Here's Lou Whitaker. Lou has struck out, trying to bunt with 2 strikes and fouled it off, and then he walked. David Clyde. In the first inning, he gave up a single to LaFleur, struck out Whitaker when he tried to bunt. Staub fly to center. And then Kemp, with LaFleur running, doubled to right center, drove home LaFleur from first. Foul back on the screen. In inning number 3, a single by LaFleur. Whitaker walked, and a sacrifice drive by Rusty Staub after a wild pitch drove home the run. That's the way it's been ever since. 2-0. Down low, 1 ball and a strike. Lou Whitaker, left-hand batter, wind up. Clyde delivers, curve, line drive, right past Kuiper. Kuiper put the glove down and barely slowed it down. That's going to be a tough play to score, because that was a line drive that had that overspin on, and Kuiper was going to grab it with the glove palm up about a little above the knees, and suddenly the ball was sinking. He tried to reverse himself. The ball hit the glove and rolled through. They'll score it an error. Whitaker safe on an error. That is the first error for the Indians. Now the errors evened up at 1 apiece. Here's Rusty Staub, who flied deep to center and lined out to center. His line drive drove in a run. Actually, fastball outside. It was a line drive to right, not center. Line smash right at the right fielder. That drove home the run in the 3rd inning. And they are playing him deep in the outfield. Ball 1 to him. 97 RBIs for Rusty. He's up in the front part of the batter's box. Curveball drops too low. Lou Whitaker at first, a definite threat to run. Whitaker, on the year, has stolen 7 times and been caught 7 times. Fastball, strike over the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Kansas City scores 2 in the first inning of their second game with the Twins, and the Minnesota Twins fail. Steve Kemp on deck with that oversized lead donut up on the barrel of the bat. 2-1 pitch. Bouncing ball foul over near the coaching box at first. Freddie Hatfield watches it roll by. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 men down, and the Tigers lead 2-0 here in inning number 5. It's been a good ball game thus far. David Clyde has settled down nicely. He had retired 8 men in a row before the error allowed Whitaker to reach first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out, the pitch. Ground ball, first base side, Kuiper over, dives, can't get it. Around second and hanging on is Lou Whitaker. Up with the ball quickly, Norris back to the infield. Kuiper launched himself to his left, and he just couldn't reach it. Rusty Staub gets a hit. That's his first hit. The 5th hit for the Tigers, their first since the 3rd inning. Runners at first and at second. Here's Steve Kemp, who double homer run in the first inning. Kemp with 60 runs batted in. He struck out swinging in the 3rd. David Clyde has had 4 strikeouts in the game. He's walked the pair. Whitaker, a fast man at second. Rusty Staub, not too speedy, on at first. And Clyde backs off as Verizon tucked in behind the runner. Lance Parrish on deck.
Check to the runner at second base. Curve low, ball one. In the bullpen, we're going to get activity for the Indians. It's like Dan Spillner will get up again, and that's who it's going to be. The pitch. Ground ball, second base side. Kuiper gloves it. Throws to Thornton. Side retired. In the inning for the Detroit Tigers, no runs. They have 1 hit. There's 1 Indian error, 2 men left. We have played 5 here in Tiger Stadium. The score, Detroit 2, Cleveland nothing.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Well, it's the last half of the top half, inning number 6. And for Jack Billingham, he'll be looking at Thornton, Alexander, and Carbo. Alexander's been in trouble in almost every inning. In fact, last inning was the first time he set the Tribe down in order. The Indians have left 6 men on base, but when he has needed it, he has had it. Billingham has not walked anybody. He has struck out 1. Indians with no runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. The Tigers, 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error. Andre Thornton has been safe on an error. Tried to bunt his way on in the 3rd inning with Manning at 3rd, and he came within about a half a step of beating 1 out. Pitcher Jack Billingham just didn't nip him at first. Andre, square stance, deep in the batter's box. The windup, Billingham's pitch is a slider breaking low and away, ball 1. On deck, Gary Alexander has that throwing it up on the bat. He is really whipping it around. Down low, 2-0. Talk about a very exuberant young man. That's Gary Alexander. He's not loud and noisy. He talk to him about baseball or anything for that matter. He just has a lot of enthusiasm, I guess a lot of joy out of life. 2-0 pitch. Ground ball, hard hit. Backhanded by Rodriguez at 3rd. Throws, he gets him. When you were a youngster and used to play and somebody make a play like that, you'd always say, well, look what I found. And that's exactly what that was. A sharply hit ground ball to the right or the foul line side. Rodriguez just stuck his hand across backhanded, and well, there it was. He's a pretty good third baseman. That's 5 men in a row, 6 men in a row, polished off by Billingham. And on the 6 outs, 5 of them have been ground balls and 1 a strikeout. Here's Gary Alexander, has flied to right, grounded to short. And on his ground ball to short, it was a smash to the right of Trammell. Trammell backhanded it and threw him out. Wind up. Billingham throws the curve. It's bounced foul past Joe Nossick in the coaching box. Indians are on the road again tomorrow night here in Tiger Stadium, but they will return to the Cleveland Stadium on Friday night, Saturday night, and an afternoon game on Sunday against the Chicago White Sox. See Larry Doby and his team come in. First time we've seen Larry since he's a manager. And on Friday afternoon, big doings at the Bond Court Hotel. We'll tell you about that as we get this pitch in. Fastball missed low. Ball 1 and a strike. Buddy Bell will be honored by the Wahoo Club at the Bond Court Hotel Friday at noon. Buddy will be joined by his co-captain on the Indians, Dwayne Kuiper. 1-1 pitch. Fastball over the inside corner, strike. Buddy only needs 23 hits to get to the 1,000 mark, and he'll be one of the younger players to reach that mark of 1,000 hits. Certainly the fine years he's had with the Tribe deserve a good showing at that Wahoo Club luncheon on Friday. It's open to the public. Want some information on it, tickets and so forth, 861-1200. They'll be happy to take care of you. Time called. Ron Luciano leaps out in front of home plate, says, don't throw. Incidentally, the master of ceremonies at that luncheon will be Harry Jones, the public relations director of the Indians. I talked to Harry today, and Harry tells me that they really have a very impressive guest list lined up, and it promises to be quite a show. 1-2 pitch, high fly ball, left field. Going back, Kemp at the edge of the warning pad. Now a few steps to his left, he puts it away. That ball was at a mile high. 2 men gone in the 6th inning. And that'll bring along Bernie Carbo. He has had hits his first 2 times up. Single up the middle, line to single to right, 2 for 2. Billingham looking around, waiting for Kemp to get back in position. 2 men down. Tigers lead 2-0. A swing and a miss on the sinking fastball. Cabo asking that the home plate umpire examine the baseball. Ron Luciano obliges, says, I don't see anything wrong, shrugs his shoulders, walks back to home plate. We've talked about this before. Ron Luciano is a devotee of Shakespeare, and occasionally he can put on a performance of his own. Fastball missed outside. Also a bird watcher. That's right. You didn't know that? He's in the right league for it. Well, the bird's on the disabled list for the rest of the year. 1-1 pitch. Bouncing ball, first base side. Grabbed by the first baseman, Mickey Stanley. Runs to the bag, gets there ahead of Cabo. Second straight inning. Indians have been retired 1-2-3. At the middle of 6 here in Tiger Stadium, the score. Tigers 2, Indians nothing.
Here's some great news for people who like to know they've made a smart buy. At Spitzer Dodge in Columbus, we've got the stylish 1978 Dodge Diplomat for just $47.95. That's right, a luxurious Diplomat, not $6,000 or $7,000, just $47.95. And diplomatically speaking, that's a smart buy. This time, instead of Chevy or Ford, pick out a mind changer, the new favorite Diplomat, for just $47.95. See you soon at Spitzer Dodge, a Columbus tradition at 5100 East Main Street.
How would you like to chat with interesting people around the world from your own home? You can with amateur radio. The Greater Ohio Radio Club is offering a 6-week course that helps you with Morse code, theory, and rules, plus the government license exam. Register today by calling 924-4241. That's 924-4241, or by writing the Greater Ohio Radio Club, Post Office Box 155B, Alexandria, Ohio 43001. That's the Greater Ohio Radio Club, Post Office Box 155B, Alexandria, Ohio 43001.
We're ready to go now into the latter half of inning number 6. The Tigers holding on to a 2-0 lead. Thus far, Jack Billingham has made it stand up. For David Clyde, he has pitched extremely well. It'll be Lance Parrish, Aurelio Rodriguez, and then Mickey Stanley. 3 right-hand batters coming up against the lefty, David Clyde. Parrish has walked. He is grounded to third. Parrish, 6'3", about 195 pounds, from Diamond Bar, California. Fastball low. Parrish, just 22 years old. Tigers had some really fine young ball players. Ball 1. Parrish wears number 13 on his white Tiger uniform. Curveball drops too low, 2-0. 15,819 here in Tiger Stadium. Swing and a miss on the fastball down around the knees. Tiger home attendance tonight with the 15,000 puts them just under 1,300,000. They're about 1,000 shy of that. 2 balls and a strike. Lined up by David Clyde. Swing and a miss. Fastball pumped it by him. David with that good fastball. He really popped that one. Last 3 innings, David Clyde pitched as well as he has in the last month. David Clyde pitched as well as he has in the last month. He's really throwing extremely well. Fastball, strike 3 called, and he knew it. He fired it by at the knees. And the catcher of the Tigers turns and strides away. 5 strikeouts recorded by David Clyde. Batter now is the third baseman, Aurelio Rodriguez. He flies to right. He is grounded to short, 0-2. Rodriguez, slightly closed stance. Curve too low, ball 1. Pirates picked up another run in the 6th inning. They lead Cincinnati now 7-2, and the Pirates are batting in the last half of the 7th. Some game going in Montreal tonight. Fastball, foul back. This one hits Gary Alexander on the right foot. Oh, man, is he taking a beating tonight? That San Francisco-Montreal game, they've gone to the top half of inning number 8. Montreal leading 1-0. Vida Blue and Woody Freeman hooked up. Vida Blue 16-5 on the year.
Frank Tanana won last night. So did Ron Guidry. Yankee left-hander became the first 17-game winner in baseball this year, and he is leading the league in strikeouts. He's ahead of Nolan Ryan. He also pitched his 6th shutout. 1 ball and a strike. Dodgers leading the Phillies 5-1, and they are in the 9th. Dodgers batting. Ball 1, strike 1. Aurelio Rodriguez. The wind-up and the pitch. Curve, bounce towards short. Verizon comes on, gets the big hop, throws, gets him. 6-3 on the out at first base. There are 2 men gone in the 6th inning, and here is Mickey Stanley. Mickey 0 for 2 in the game. Last time up, called on a strike. Mickey picking up some dirt. The home plate, batter's box, flipping it out. David Clyde right back up on top there. The rosin sack behind the mound. Neither pitch tonight, I think, has gone to that rosin once. Tim Corcoran on deck. 2 men out in the 6th. Tigers lead 2-0. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did, says umpire Kaiser from first base. Mickey Stanley looking down at Ken Kaiser with less than affection. Fans just found out that they made that a strike. And they are not happy. Strike 1. David Clyde working on Mickey Stanley. Tigers lead the Indians 2-0. We are in the last of 6 here at Tiger Stadium. Ground ball, third base side. Buddy to his right, spears it. Throws, he gets him. 1, 2, 3. David Clyde is polished off the Tigers in the 6th. Nothing across. And we go now into the 7th inning here at Tiger Stadium. The score, the Tigers 2, the Indians nothing.
You know, listening to Major League Baseball on 3WJ is a great way to follow the national pastime. But to really appreciate the game and the players' talents, at least once in a while, you should see a game in person. And those of us at 3WJ would like you to see the exciting Cleveland Indians on us during our Tribe Ticket Giveaway. All you have to do is send us your name, address, and phone number. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during the noon news, we'll draw a name to win 2 tickets to an Indians home game of your choice. If your name is drawn, your tickets go into the mail that same day. And we won't stick you out in the left field bleachers, but in box seats, so you'll be right next to the action. To enter, send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard or letter to Tribe Tickets, 3WJ, P.O. Box 373, Johnstown, Ohio, 43031. Again, that's Tribe Tickets, P.O. Box 373, Johnstown, Ohio, 43031. To win 2 box seat tickets to a Cleveland Indians baseball game of your choice. Entries are limited to 1 per week, so enter today and let 3WJ take you out to the ball game.
Top half of the 7th inning. Indians trailing Detroit 2-0. Indians will send up Dwayne Kuiper. Now, first of all, Jimmy Norris, then Dwayne Kuiper, and Tom Verizon, 7, 8, 9 in the Tribe order. Detroit with a 2-0 lead, picked up a run on the first on a single by LaFleur and a double by Kemp. Added a run on the third on a single by LaFleur, a walk, a wild pitch, and Staub sacrifice line drive fly ball to right. Jimmy Norris bobs to the first baseman. Stanley made a spectacular play, fell in the bags for 1 out, picked himself up, discovered Carbo wandering around off second base, and turned it into a double play. Pitch to Norris, pop foul out of play, left side. Rodriguez charging over for this one. Wind blew that one back toward the field, but it was still about 5 rows deep. Strike 1. Stanley at first, Whitaker at second, Trammell at short, Rodriguez at third, Kemp in left, LaFleur in center, Corcoran in right, Parrish catching, and Jack Billingham on the mound. Over the first 6 innings, Billingham has given up 6 base hits, struck out 1, and has not walked anyone. Wind up, strike 1 pitch. Norris takes strike 2. Norris in the 4th inning pounced a single over the first baseman's head into right field. Well, Jimmy 1 for 2 on the night. Billingham with the 0-2 pitch. Norris takes low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Have a nice note here from a former Clevelander, Pat O'Neill. Wants to be remembered to all friends and relatives back in Cleveland. He now works for Pro Sports Publications here in Detroit. Pitch is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Top of the 7th, Detroit 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Cleveland no runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. Billingham all set. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Norris. Jim takes outside. Full count of 3-2. Earlier today, the Detroit Tigers placed right-hand relief pitcher Steve Foucault on waivers. He was claimed by the Kansas City Royals, and the Tigers have now called up Dave Tobick from Evansville. Pitch, high fly ball, short left field, Trammell going back, shortstop in short left field, and makes the catch. Norris pops to the shortstop, and there's one out of the seventh inning. Dwayne Kuiper has singled to the second baseman and been safe for the fielder's choice. Dwayne coming off that bad knee. Still has the knee, but he's back in the lineup tonight. Going to give it a go. Take that knee as far as it'll take him. There's a high fly ball to left field. Kemp coming in, getting under the ball, and makes the catch. 2 outs. Well, what we said about Billingham has evidently proven true again. If you don't get him early, he's going to get you. Indians had 2 on in the first, 2 hits in the second, another man on in the third, had 2 more hits in the fourth. Did not score against Billingham, and he has now wiped out the last 9 men in a row. Tom Verizon, the batter. Tommy takes inside ball 1. Tom has been safe on the fielder's choice and called out on strikes. Billingham winds up. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Verizon takes the fastball low. Ball 2. Rocky Colavito coaching at first. Joe Nosek at third. Now Billingham turns, walks behind the mound. Staring down at the ground, flexes his right arm, turns and comes back up on top of the hill. He's done that 2 or 3 times tonight. It seems as though occasionally he wants to regroup, so he goes back behind the mound. Not with the drama of Robaski, but with the same intent. Pitch is high, ball 3, 3-0. Rick Manning on deck. Here comes the 3-0 pitch to Verizon, and Tommy takes a strike. Just below the belt on the inside corner, 3-1. Wind up by Billingham, and the 3-1 pitch to Verizon. Chops the ball down the third base line. Glove foul of the bag. Throw across, but it's a foul ball, and the count is 3-2, and Verizon will come back. Three balls, 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch. Verizon pops a fly ball into center field. Coming in to get it is LaFleur. He does, and the side's retired. 3 up, 3 down. At the end of 6 1/2 innings of play, it is Detroit 2, Cleveland nothing.
This is Dave Smith from Dave Smith Ford. We're over here in Pataskala, which is halfway between Columbus and Newark, on Route 16. And we will save you money on a new Ford, or as you've heard me say many times, I'll buy you 2 steak dinners. Now, right now, we're having our clearance sale, summer, whatever you want to call it, the end of the 78s, get ready for the 79s. So come on over. We will save you money on a new car. We need used cars. We have a good selection. So come on over and see us, and do your best. We will, too.
Lady, there's a federal law against importing certain foods, plants, and animal products.
Oh, will I have to go to jail?
Well, I don't think
I'll have to pay a fine?
Look, I know you believe you understand what you think I said, but I'm not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant.
What?
It's just before you go abroad, you should get a booklet called Traveler's Tips. It's free and newly revised to make it easier to understand the law. I know, I did the rewrite.
Oh, I've always wanted to meet an author. Right for Traveler's Tips.
Write Traveler's Tips, USDA, Washington, D.C., 20250. Or ask your travel agent.
Home half of the 7th inning, Corcoran, Trammell, and LaFleur against David Clyde. Detroit leading 2-0. Corcoran, left-hand batting right fielder, had a bunt single the first time up and then was doubled up on a ground ball to the shortstop. And he struck out in the 4th inning. Over the first 6 innings, David Clyde has given up 2 runs, 5 hits, struck out 5, walked 2, thrown 1 wild pitch. Wind up. And the first pitch to Corcoran. Line drive, right field. Norris coming in, reaches out and grabs that ball. Corcoran is away, and there's 1 down in the 7th inning of play. Trammell with that ground ball to short and a pop fly ball to center field. 0 for 2 on the night. Defensively, it's Thornton at first, Kuiper at second, Verizor at short, Bell at third, Grubb in left, Manning in center, Norris at right, Alexander catching, and David Clyde on the mound. Tigers with a run in the first and a run in the third. 2-0. Tigers are now batting in the 7th inning. Here's the pitch. Trammell takes strike at the knees.
David Clyde has given up just one hit since the 3rd inning.
Time call. Trammell steps back. Here's the strike one pitch to Trammell. Fastball low. 1 ball, 1 strike. One pitch. Trammell takes strike 2 to the inside corner. Freddie Hatfield coaching at first base and Dick Krasuski at third. Clyde shakes his head, then winds up. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Trammell drives one down the left field line. This is going to be trouble. Into the corner, bounces up against the wall. Trammell digging to second base, round second, and hangs on with a double. Alan Trammell doubles with 1 out of the 7th.
Indians were not playing him to pull the ball, and he jerked it down the left field line.
6 hits off Clyde, evening the hits between the two clubs at 6 each way. Bullpen action. Don Hood is trotting down there. Ron LaFleur has singled twice, scored twice, bounced to short once. Verizor got him on a fine play the last time up. Stretch by Clyde. Looks back to Trammell. And the pitch to LaFleur. Outside, ball 1. Lou Whitaker on deck. A stretch. And the 1-0 pitch. Fastball inside, and the count is 2-0. Alexander trots to the mound to have a little chat with David Clyde. At the moment, LaFleur hitting .293. And he has collected 11 hits and 33 at-bats against Cleveland. Don't need the computer for that.
Not too bad.
.333. Clyde looks in and gets the sign. The stretch. 2-0 pitch. LaFleur swing and a miss. Ball rolls behind the plate. Picked up by Alexander. Trammell not sure whether it was foul tip. Did not go to third base.
At first, he couldn't find the ball. He knew that Alexander had lost it somewhere, but he thought it might have been down right between his feet. Rolled behind him by the time Trammell thought he couldn't move.
LaFleur at bat. 2 on the count. Trammell leading at second base. The pitch is outside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Don Hood and Dan Spillner, a left-hander and a right-hander in the Indians bullpen. Stretch. And here comes the 3-1 pitch to LaFleur. Strike 2. Full count.
Good curveball. That's what makes hitting tough. You get a fella there 3-1. You look like you might be able to get a pitch you can pick on and come through with a good curveball like that.
The stretch by Clyde. Look back to Trammell at second. 1 out. 3-2 pitch to Ron LaFleur. Swing and a miss, and the curveball struck him out. Clyde with his 6th strikeout of the night. And that is his 60th strikeout of the year. Lou Whitaker has struck out trying to bunt. That was in the 1st inning. He walked in the 3rd. Was safe on Kuiper's error and a sinking line drive in the 5th. The stretch by Clyde. Looks back to Trammell. And the first pitch to the left-hand batter, and Whitaker takes low and outside, ball 1. Rusty Staub on deck. RBIs tonight have been by Staub, his 97th, and Kemp, his 60th. On both occasions, they drove home Ronald LaFleur. The stretch. And the pitch. Whitaker hits a very high fly ball down the left field line. Grubb coming hard toward the foul line, into the bullpen. Running catch and foul ground to retire the side. No runs and a hit with a man left at second base. And at the end of 7 innings of play, it is still Detroit 2, Cleveland nothing.
This is Dave Smith from Dave Smith Ford. We're over here in Pataskala, which is halfway between Columbus and Newark, on Route 16. And we will save you money on a new Ford, or as you've heard me say many times, I'll buy you 2 steak dinners. Now, right now, we're having our clearance sale, summer, whatever you want to call it, the end of the 78, get ready for the 79. So come on over. We will save you money on a new car. We need used cars. We have a good selection. So come on over and see us, and do your best. We will, too.
Race car drivers, baseball players, football players. Professionals like these face danger every day, and they all wear helmets for protection. Motorcycle riders are pros, too. That's why they wear helmets. They won't let a head injury take them out of the action. For more information on motorcycle safety, write the Ohio Department of Highway Safety, Columbus, Ohio, 43205.
Top of the order, Manning, Bell, and Grubb. 15,819 here tonight watching the Indians and the Tigers, and they've seen a good pitcher's battle. Wind up by Billingham. First pitch to Manning, and Rick takes low and outside, ball 1. Manning has singled twice in 3 trips. Hit to left in the first, to center field in the third, off Whitaker's glove. Bounce to the second baseman in the 5th. Pitch to Manning is a strike, knee high on the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Billingham ready with the 1-1 pitch to Manning. Rick takes low and outside, and the count is 2-1. Two balls and a strike. Wind up, 2-1 pitch. Manning fouls it off to the left into the upper deck. And that takes the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wind up, 2-2 pitch. Manning, check swing, pitch a touch outside. Full count of 3-2. And the payoff pitch bounced down the third base side, backhanded by Rodriguez. Long throw. He's out at first by an eyelash. Storm Morgan Calavita will argue with Ken Kaiser that Stanley was not in the bag when he took the throw. Kaiser gives you that great big wind-up motion when he calls the man out, and they are arguing that he was so busy winding up to call the man out he didn't even see whether or not Stanley was on the bag or not. But Manning is out, and that's the way it's going to stand. 1 out, nobody on in the 8th. Bell is fouled to right, bounced to third, bounced to the shortstop. Billingham ready to work to the right-hand batter. Wind up and the pitch. High and inside, ball 1. Milwaukee has knocked off Toronto in their first game by a score of 8-1. Bell hammers a shot on one hop to third. Grabbed by Rodriguez. Throws him out again. 2 outs. Good play by Aurelio Rodriguez.
Well, the Tigers certainly throwing some tough defense at the Indians.
Johnny Grubb is lined to center, bounced to second, and again to second base. 0 for 3 on the night. First pitch to John is a fastball. Strike at the knees. Strike 1.
13 men in a row polished off by Jack Billingham with the help of his defense.
Next pitch to John is low again, and ball 1, strike 1. Well, Mike Caldwell is now a 15-game winner for Milwaukee. Pitch to Grubb outside. 2 balls and a strike. Wind up. 2-1 pitch. Hit hard off the glove of the pitcher. Deflected to Whitaker, and he throws him out. Oh, you know
man.
you're living right now.
I should say.
1-4-3, the put-out on a hard smash that Billingham got some leather on, deflected over to Whitaker, and he made the play. 3 up, 3 down. The end of 7 1/2 innings of play. The score, the Tigers 2, the Indians nothing.
The day is done. It's time to let it go. It's the moment to unwind. So just say bud. And for the king of beers, and settle back and be yourself. No matter what you do, no matter when or where, you know a glass of bud is like an easy chair when you say Budweiser. Hey, that's right. Nothing goes with that special time you call yours like the clean, fresh taste of Budweiser. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. Anheuser-Busch, thank you.
Home half of the 8th inning, Staub, Kemp, and Parrish against David Clyde. As soon as we find out what happens to Rusty Staub, we'll get a station break. Rusty right now is stepping in. He has flied to center, hit a sacrifice line drive to the right fielder, and singled. And that takes strike 1, knee high on the inside corner. White Sox 2, Texas 1 in the 5th at Arlington. Here's the strike 1 pitch to Staub. He takes low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Down in the bullpen, a left-hander, Ed Glynn, warming up. Montreal just knocked off the Giants, and the Dodgers defeated Philadelphia. The Dodgers are in first by a game. Pitch, curveball, rammed right over Freddie Hatfield's head, the first base coach, and bangs off the wall by the bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Staub ready again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Clyde's pitch. Staub pops it up. Foul. First base side. Back goes Thornton toward the bullpen. Still on the grass. Makes the catch. 1 out, and we pause for station identification. This is the Cleveland Indians Baseball Network.
You know, listening to Major League Baseball on 3WJ is a great way to follow the national pastime. But to really appreciate the game and the players' talent...
This is 3WJ, Central Ohio's home, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, Browns, and Indians. WWJ, Johnstown.
Driving a run in the first inning. Struck out in the 3rd, bounced to 2nd of the 5th. Wind up by Clyde in the pitch. It is low and right back to the screen. Ball 1. Woody Fryman threw a 1-hitter at the Giants tonight. Vida Blue threw a 3-hitter at Montreal. Wind up in the pitch. Kemp pops a foul back upstairs, headed for the roof for the count is even at a ball and a strike. the 8th inning. Steve Kemp at bat. Tigers leading 2-0. One out and nobody on. Pitch is low. He looked as though he was going to bunt the ball, but got the bat out of there in time. 2-1 the count. Wind up by David Clyde, and the 2-1 pitch. Kemp takes low and outside, and that takes the count to 3-1. Here comes the 3-1 offering to the left-hand batter, and Kemp wraps the ball foul down the first base line, gloved by Thornton in foul ground, and it's a full count of 3-2. Pittsburgh just hit the Reds with 4 more in the 7th, and they now lead Cincinnati 11-2 in the 8th inning of play. Wind up in the pitch to Kemp. Hit hard. Kuiper can't get it. It's flying into right field. A base hit. That was a bullet. Line smash into right. That is the 7th hit off David Clyde. Minnesota has battled back to tie up Kansas City 2-2 after 3 of their second game. Minnesota beat them in the first game 5-1. The stretch by David Clyde. Look to first. And the pitch. High drive. Center field. Manning galloping back. Still going back. Still going back on the warning path. Holds it down. Parrish with a long drive to center field. 2 outs.
That ball hit about 400 feet, Joe.
It was really posted. He grabbed it right in front of that 415 sign. Aurelio Rodriguez 0 for 3 on a fly ball to right and 2 ground balls to the shortstop. In the bullpen for the Indians, Spillner and Hood again. The stretch and the pitch, and Rodriguez chops the ball toward third. Bell comes in, grabs another run, throws across, got him to retire the side. Oh, in the 8th inning of play for the Tigers, no runs and a hit with a man left. At the end of 8, Detroit 2, Cleveland nothing.
The day is done. It's time to let it go. It's the moment to unwind. So just say bud. And for the king of beers, and settle back and please yourself. No matter what you do, no matter when or where, you know a glass of bud is like an easy chair. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Get one more whack at Billingham, trailing 2-0. Thornton, Alexander, and Carbo. Some pretty good whackers. John Hiller is up in the bullpen for the Tigers. Wind up first pitch to Andre. Outside, ball 1. Thornton, safe on an error. Tried to bunt his way on with a squeeze and narrowly missed it. And then bounced to third in the 6th on a good play by Rodriguez. The pitch, Thornton hits a shot into left field. It's going to drop for a hit. Kemp over, picks it up. And Thornton is on with a leadoff single in the 9th inning of play.
That breaks a string of 14 in a row, polished off by the right-hander, Jack Billingham.
7 Indian hits. Like 14 in a row. Gary Alexander is fly to right, bounced to short, and fly to left. Billingham will go to work from the stretch for the first time in some time. First baseman Mickey Stanley telling Billingham he will not cover at first base with Thornton. The stretch. The pitch. High fly ball to short right. Corcoran coming in under the ball and makes the catch. That's one out, Alexander, for that high fly ball to right. Bernie Carbo is single to center, single to right, and bounced to the first baseman. One out in the 9th inning of play, and the Indians have a runner on. Billingham, the stretch. The pitch. Carbo takes the fastball low. Ball 1. The stretch. And the pitch. Carbo takes again low. Ball 2. 2-0. At first base with one out of the 9th inning. Carbo hitting .270. Stretch, pitch. Bernie takes low and outside. Ball 3. 3-0. It is now or never for the Indians. Half of the 9th, one out, one on, and the Tigers leading 2-0. They picked up a run in the first and one more in the 3rd. Look in for the sign. Right-hander Billingham against the left-hander Bernie Carbo. 3-0 pitch. Bernie takes a strike. 3-1.
Billingham has not walked the batter tonight. He's been behind very few of them.
John Hiller is in the bullpen. Pitch to Bernie. Line drive, left field. Kept coming over. Makes the catch. 2 out. Well, he hit it right on the nose to left field.
When it first left the bat, it looked like it might be in there, but it didn't slice very much, and Kemp was playing over, and he got over there quickly.
Jim Norris, the last man to keep it alive. He has bounced to first on a super play by Stanley, bounced to hit over Stanley's head into right field, and then popped up to the shortstop of the 7th. 2-0 Detroit. 2 outs and a man on in the 9th. Pitch to Jimmy Norris is low. Ball 1. John Hiller staying ready in the bullpen. Pitch to Norris, a strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Billingham keeping that ball right out over the outside part of the plate, thinking that Norris will be trying to pull one. They're going to try and prevent him from doing that.
The pitch, that is a strike at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Threw him the slider, and that time moved it in on his hand.
Oh.
Billingham has really done an artistic job here tonight.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Norris takes low. Good stop by Parrish on a ball that bounced in. 2-2 count. Billingham again looks. Taking a lot of time with the game on the line here in the 9th. The pitch to Norris. Outside. Full count of 3-2. Thornton at first base. He started the 9th with a single. Billingham with a 3-2 count on Jimmy Norris. Hiller in the bullpen. The stretch. Here's the payoff pitch, and a bouncing ball back to Whitaker. Second baseman throws the game ball. Final score, the Detroit Tigers 2, the Indians nothing. We'll start to wrap up after a moment.
The Chicago...
Gather round, folks. Gather round. Like my sign says, it's Trader John's Traveling Emporium, the general store on wheels. Trader John's wagon has everything and the best of everything. Just smell this soap, little lady. And for you, sir, hand tools, handguns, and the finest fresh chewing tobacco. That'll be mail pouch chewing tobacco, gentlemen.
The story of a great American tradition, mail pouch chewing tobacco. Mail pouch was America's first brand of leaf tobacco, and it's been pleasing men ever since. That's because mail pouch has its own special one-of-a-kind flavor that comes from over 90 years' experience in giving tobacco chewers what they want. A clean, fresh taste that's not too strong, but isn't too sweet either. A flavor that really lasts and satisfies a man all day long. So if you haven't tried mail pouch lately, chew a few packs and taste the mail pouch difference. You'll see why it's become a tradition to chew mail pouch. And treat yourself to the best.
Well, here tonight it was Detroit, 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 7 left. Cleveland, no runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 7 left. The winner is Jack Billingham. He is 13-5, and Herb, he is hot.
He surely is. That is his 8th straight win. 4 of those wins have come on the shutout route. And tonight, he just did a whale of a job. Did not walk a batter, struck only one man out, so he had them hitting the ball. He had the ball down, and a lot of the outs were on ground balls. And Jack Billingham, now a 13-game winner. I have to say that the Tigers made a pretty good acquisition in Jack Billingham when they picked him up this spring.
That is his 27th career shutout and 4th with the Detroit Tigers. But by the same token, Herb, you really have to be encouraged with the work of David Clyde.
David Clyde tonight, I think, pitched as well as he has at any game this year. He started off in the first inning, gave up a run on 2 hits. He gave up a run in the 3rd inning. A wild pitch hurt him there. But after that, settled right down. He walked only 2 batters in the game. Both the walks came by the 3rd inning. He struck out 6. And David Clyde allowed just 7 base hits. And I thought from about the 4th inning on, he just really started to cut loose and throw the ball the way David Clyde threw it in his first 4 or 5 starts. And that is encouraging. And, of course, again, the Indians lose another very tough ball game, a close ball game. And Jeff Solborg, the eternal optimist, and I'm not saying that as a derogatory manner, but, you know, you try to look for positive things. And this is a case tonight of getting men on base and just not being able to get the hit when you needed it. Indians' best opportunity probably came right at the beginning of the ball game. They had 2 men on in the first inning, single by Manning. The next 2 men were out, and then Thornton was safe on an error. They couldn't score. Then in the 2nd inning, Carbo led off with a single, and he went to second base on a ground ball, but made a turn not knowing where the ball was, and they trapped him off, and that sort of ended that threat because Kuiper followed with a base hit, and that was it.
We'll have more for you from Tiger Stadium in Detroit after this timeout.
The day is done. It's time to let it go. It's the moment to unwind. So just say bud. And for the king of beers, and settle back and please yourself. No matter what you do, no matter when or where, you know a glass of blood is like an easy chair when you're
Let me tell you something I learned a long time ago. When you work hard, you ought to relax. Easy. That's what Budweiser's all about.
When you big Budweiser, you get it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Well, with this win tonight, the Tigers go to 65-52 on the year. They're 5-3 against the Cleveland Indians, including 3 straight here at Tiger Stadium. The Indians slipped to 53-65, and on the road their record is 20-38. The Detroit Tigers assure themselves of, well, they don't, because Milwaukee has won their first game, and should Milwaukee win the nightcap over Toronto, then Milwaukee would move a half game in front of the Detroit Tigers. But the Tigers are still in excellent shape in the American League East. And tomorrow night, in the second game of this brief 2-game set, we're going to see Dave Freisleben 1-4 for the Indians, and Jim Slayton 12-9 for the Detroit Tigers. And Herb, when you talk about Dave Freisleben, and I know you've talked about this with Jeff Torborg previously, here's another man that is slowly but surely getting his act together.
Sort of being reconstructed as far as the pitcher goes, because they're trying to smooth out his pitching style and his motion. And after the last performance by Dave Freisleben, a game in which he didn't win, but Jeff Torborg saying it was the best that he had thrown as far as staying in a groove, getting the fastball over, and getting the breaking ball over. And each time he goes out, it looks like he's getting a little bit better. And of course, that is a very good sign for the Indians. The Indians just hoping that several on the line, they can put some hitting and some pitching together and get back on the winning path.
We'll have more for you here at Detroit right after we take this timeout.
This is Dave Smith from Dave Smith Ford. We're over here in Pataskala, which is halfway between Columbus and Newark, on Route 16. And we will save you money on a new Ford, or as you've heard me say many times, I'll buy you 2 steak dinners. Now, right now, we're having our clearance sale, summer, whatever you want to call it, the end of the 78s, get ready for the 79. So come on over. We will save you money on a new car. We need used cars. We have a good selection. So come on over and see us, and do your best. We will, too.
Automobile drivers cause more than 2/3 of all car motorcycle accidents. As both a driver and a cyclist, I know how hard it is to judge the speed and distance of a motorcycle. That's why it's important for drivers like me to keep an eye out for cyclists like me. That's what highway safety is all about.
Good to know we're all out here together, you and I.
Presented by the Ohio Department of Highway Safety.
A couple of things that we'd like to call your attention to, and as much as we do have a couple of extra moments, the Wahoo Club will be meeting Friday, August the 18th at noon at the Boncourt Hotel with a very special salute to Buddy Bell, who is rapidly closing on his 1,000th career hit. And Harry Jones will MC the festivities. The Wahoo Club luncheon's open to the public, and if you'd like further information, just give a buzz to 861-1200 during normal business hours. And the Indians will come home for the weekend of the Chicago White Sox. As Herb said, our first look at the White Sox under the managerial reign of Larry Doby. Mike Peroly goes against Rick Wise Friday night, Francisco Barrios against Mike Paxton on Saturday, and Steve Stone Sunday afternoon against Rick Waits. I'll have more right after we take this time out.
This is Dave Smith from Dave Smith Ford. We're over here in Pataskala, which is halfway between Columbus and Newark, on Route 16. Which is halfway between Columbus and Newark, on Route 16. And we will save you money on a new Ford, or as you've heard me say many times, I'll buy you 2 steak dinners. Now, right now, we're having our clearance sale, summer, whatever you want to call it, the end of the 78s, get ready for the 79. So come on over. We will save you money on a new car. We need used cars. We have a good selection. So come on over and see us, and do your best. We will, too.
This is Adrienne Barbeau, and I want to share with you some disturbing facts from the March of Dimes. In 16 foreign countries, a newborn baby has a better chance of surviving to his first birthday than he has in the United States. More of our babies die partly because we have a higher number of low birth weight babies. And low birth weight is the most common birth defect in our country. It is the cause of the greatest number of infant deaths. It is the major cause of disability in childhood.
Well, we invite you down
An unborn baby
for
can't choose the country of...
show. I'll have all the scores of all the games. The National League is already said and done for the night, and Herb will be chatting with Rusty Staub of the Detroit Tigers. Announcers for this broadcast selected and paid by 3 WE Radio. It took 2 hours, 11 minutes, 15,819 at Tiger Stadium. The final score, Detroit 2, Cleveland nothing.
Born and the newborn through the March of Dimes.
3WJ, your total sports station in Central Ohio, brings you Cleveland Indians baseball. Joe Tate and Herb Score. Indians baseball is brought to you by Marco Polo Lounge on West 5th Avenue in Columbus, the best disco in town. By Dave Smith Ford, 10 minutes east of Columbus on Broad Street. By Budweiser, the king of beers. By Mail Pouch Chewing Tobacco. Treat yourself to the best. Mail Pouch. By the Broadview Golf Course at Route 310 and 16 in Pataskala, a challenging 9-hole golf course. And by Spitzer Dodge, 5100 East Main in Columbus. 3WJ Total Sports in Central Ohio and Cleveland Indians Baseball.